What's up, everybody? This is your boy, the real John King, coming at you again with another real road. I'm sorry, it's a random road story. I keep wanting to say the real, but Dion Cole's doing the real road stories, and I just want to use real because you say real before my name all the time, so excuse me on that. We're going to do another random road story by the real John King. This story has to do with the time that I met Christina Applegate from that huge TV show called Married with Children. She played the character Kelly, and I'm sure everybody remember her in that show. But this story is probably more about the comic that I was working with during that 2-week stay. There was a club in Nassau, Bahamas called Joker's Wild. It was actually located on Paradise Island, which is a small island off of the main island. It's just a bridge that connect them. You could either walk across it or drive across it. But anyhow, me and Katz, a comedian from Chicago. I know I say this all the time, but this was a great brother, man. I learned a lot from working with this brother. And I think the thing that I learned the most was how important collaboration and cooperation is. And Katz showed me exactly the importance of those two things. Now, when you're working in Bahamas, the club there, Joker's Wild, wanted to book comics for 2 weeks. Because for them, it was cheaper just to book a comic for 2 weeks and not have to fly comics in every week. So we was working there at the Joker's Wild Comedy Club. And this particular week, the cast and the executive from Married with Children were there on the island, Paradise Island, which I got to say, too, that this is a very beautiful island, man. It's like one of the this resort, actually, the island itself is too, but the resort is called Atlantis, and it's one of the top 10, rated as one of the top 10 best resort places in the world. And that's saying a lot. One of the best in the world, in the top 10. So we working here in Atlantis at Joker's Wild on Paradise Island. And like I said before, the cast from Married with Children was there. Well, not the complete cast. I know for sure that Christina was there, and the dude that played Bud, I can't think of his name. I should have did that research before I started this video, but Bud was there. And by the way, Bud was a nice cat, man. A regular down-to-earth guy, man. I got a chance to hang out with him at the pool. But get back to Christina. Well, get back to Katz, as a matter of fact. What had happened, the people from the Married with Children show, they had some kind of, I don't know what you call it, some kind of dinner, meeting, some kind of function where they wanted to hire a comedian from the comedy club to come over and do a show. And what they did was they came to our show, being Al's show, and they were going to pick whichever comic that they liked and that they thought was, best for to do their function. So me and Al got up and we did our shows that night, and they didn't tell us right off the bat who they was going to choose. They was going to get back with us later. So Al Katz, I don't know if I mentioned, Al was from Chicago, man. Very clever comic, man. Very well versed in life and how all that stuff works. But Al came to me and he said, "John, look," he said, "it's just me and you, all right?" He said, "They're gonna have to pick one of us." He said, "So here's what we'll do." He said, "It don't matter which one they pick. We'll just agree to split the money, and that way we're both going to win. We'll both walk away with some money." I couldn't remember exactly how much the money was, but it was a nice chunk of money. So lo and behold, they ended up picking Al. So Al went and did the show on this particular night. And when he got back, the first thing he did was he handed me my part of the money. He handed me a bottle of champagne, I think it was, a bottle of wine or something. He said, I don't drink this stuff, so you can have it. So the lesson that I came away with from that was, if you collaborate and you cooperate, both parties can win. And Al saw an opportunity that we both could win. And when we was in a situation where it wasn't neither one of us going to lose, because it didn't matter, man. We was going to walk away with some money. So later on, me and Al was out at this club, a local club there on the island. We were just hanging out, kicking it. And here comes Christina Applegate with with her, what do you call it, with her clique or her crew, some bodyguards, I'm sure. And she remembered Al from doing the show for him earlier that night. So they invited us over to the table, and they had like a VIP section cordoned off. They invited us over there to hang out and kick it with them. So we did. And I got a chance to talk to Christina, man. She was a down-to-earth lady. Nothing like her character on Married with Children. And we had a good time with her, man. We had a few drinks. We talked. We laughed. And she was, she was pretty regular. She also conversed with some of the patrons that was there at the club. And she wasn't standoffish. She wasn't, trying to pretend like she was a big deal or whatever. And that was a really good experience, man, to be able to hang out with some industry people like that. Because a lot of time, you hear stories about people, and I'm sure that there are some stars that are standoffish and they don't want nobody to say nothing to them. But Christina wasn't like that. And the next day, I was at the pool, me and my wife, and Bud, who ended up coming to the pool, and he remembered me from being a comic and seeing me. So him and his girl come over, and we kind of talked and, just kind of socialized a little bit at the swimming pool. And once again, Bud was a regular dude, man. He wasn't trying to act like he was the shit either. He was just like any regular dude that you would meet. So I really enjoyed meeting those people, man, and hanging out with them a little bit. We didn't really do nothing spectacular, just a little socializing, and they were just regular people. But my shout out is to Al Katz, man, because I never would have thought of doing what he did. I probably would have just either kept all the money or thought about keeping all the money or just not getting any money at all and just say, hey, it is what it is. But Al was smart enough to say, hey, we both going to win in this deal. And that's exactly what we did. So shout out to Al Katz from Chicago. Really appreciate you, brother. Enjoyed working with you for those 2 weeks. Best to you and your family, and hope to see you again, Al, somewhere down the road. Hey, that's it for me, folks. Thanks a lot for tuning in and for listening.